Alright guys, it's BLM here and we're back with another episode of the Order 1886. We're going to continue on here. And yeah, it's nighttime and it's really fucking late, but I wanted to record at least one episode right now. The Survivor finale ended about an hour ago. I watched that till the end. That was pretty solid, but here we go. And I want to talk about it. I'm going to be talking about it here as well. Which I know most people that are into gaming probably aren't into strategic reality shows, but oh fucking well. I did the same thing when the last season of Survivor ended, which is kind of weird that I've been doing this for this long at this point. Yeah, really good ending. I thought it was a pretty good ending to this. Okay, fuck off. I thought it was a pretty good. Are we really like dead from just that? Okay, fine. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good finale. And the Seabass vote out was amazing. I mean, I think Dominic made one of the best moves. I won't say of all time. I think that's a bit of a stretch, but I mean, I think definitely one of the best. I mean, I think it's definitely the best play ever made by using a fake item. And that pretty much got him the final three, that one move. And the thing about it though is, to be honest, I'm a bit disappointed Dominic didn't end up winning at the end. And I understand why he lost. I do. I mean, I think I understand how he lost. I mean, obviously it'll be clarified more after the exit interviews and everything start coming out. But I'm pretty sure I know why he lost. But that being said, I mean, to come down to 5-5 and for Dom to shit. Okay. And for him to lose due to Laurel's vote, that sucks. That really sucks. But the thing is, if you think about it, there's nothing he could do at that point. I mean, there's stuff he could do. But I mean, like, I'm saying that, like, when it comes to, if it was going to come out to a tiebreaker anyway, there's no one within the final six that would have voted for him. If you look at all the votes, the first 5 people in jury were the 5 people that voted for him. Everyone else after that in jury voted for Wendell. And the thing is, I do think Dom played a stronger game, but I think a lot of that was based off of what happened tonight. Like, I think before this it was very, very close. I was personally rooting for Dominic because I think Dominic was playing the more outward game, and I always say this, and I think this is something that people don't necessarily agree with, but I think if a person is able, like, and the perfect example of this is Sophie versus Coach, which happened in South Pacific. I would have voted for Coach, and people say, oh, Coach was just the figurehead and Sophie was the strategic mastermind. Like, while that may be true, I do think if you allow the person who was the figurehead to get to the end, then they deserve the fucking vote. I mean, being the figurehead and being able to get to the end, I think that's worthy enough of a vote right there. And I think that in every situation where this occurs, that's the way I would vote, because I think it's a strategic flaw of the person who is the, like, behind the scenes sort of mastermind. It's the fault of their gameplay to bring someone who everyone thinks played a stronger game. Mind you, obviously with Sophie, Coach didn't admit to what he was doing, and they ended up not voting for him because of it. But again, Sophie easily could have lost that season if Coach would have not been Coach. Mind you, again, you could say this credits to Sophie in the sense that she knew Coach wouldn't admit to his lies and stuff, but again, I think that's banking, that's essentially adding an element of luck there that shouldn't be there. Okay, fuck, we're really neat. Okay, why the fuck are there guys down there, by the way? But since Dominic was the one out in front, and also he made so many. The thing is, like, I can't tell you what Wendell's best move in the game is. I don't know what that would be. I guess aligning, like, and getting social relationship, like, better social relationships with Laurel, and to be honest, that might be his biggest move because that was what won him the game. But it's like, I really couldn't tell you what his biggest move. Well, with Dominic, at least there's things there that separate him from Wendell. There's the move, and I'm talking about obviously moves that separate him from, like Wendell's moves that separate him from Dominic. I couldn't tell you. I guess giving the immunity to Laurel at Final 5, that probably solidified her vote for him, and good on him. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I would have voted for Dominic easily. I wouldn't have really even thought twice about it. But some of the votes did surprise me. I mean, because I feel like, while they have the right to be bitter, some of the votes did seem a bit bitter. Especially Donathan's. The fact that Donathan voted for Wendell, even after he spent like a lot of the jury questioning praising Dominic. Like he did mention at the end, oh, I felt like I was bullied or whatever. I feel like that, I mean, I feel like he was a bit bitter. Mind you, he's allowed to be bitter. That's the part of the jury. You're allowed to be bitter. Like, so that's the thing. I don't know if Donathan was voting for Wendell. I think he could have been voting against Dominic. And that's why I consider a bitter person. If you're not voting for someone, you're voting against someone. And they have every right to be that way. That's the game of Survivor. I mean, that's the game of Survivor, Big Brother, whatever game that has this jury element to it. You're supposed to get the people that are voted out. You're supposed to get their votes at the end. And no matter how they act, no matter how they determined what their vote is, that's your job as a player to get their votes based on their criteria. And that's something Dominic couldn't get. He couldn't get that 6th vote to bring out the win. And that is a fault of his game. But again, that being said, I would have still voted for him if I was personally there at the end. Just like I would have voted for Coach if Coach got to the end of South Pacific. Mind you, I'm not comparing Dominic to Coach. Dominic played a much stronger game than Coach. And that being said, I'm not dissing Wendell's game. Wendell played a great game as well. They're both top tier winners no matter who won. Mind you, I would have had Dominic as a higher tier winner. And the reason is solely based off of tonight. I mean, they were equal coming into tonight, and I knew that one of them was going to be lower, one was going to be higher, solely determined on really if any of them needed their idols, like it needed their idols to survive, which it turned out none of them did. And then also the fact that what are we doing here? Also determined on the fact of who won the final immunity and who needed to win the fire challenge, because whoever needed to win the fire challenge, I put that person lower, because that is a fault in their game that they didn't. Because if this was a normal season of Survivor, by normal season I mean like an actual vote at Final 4, they wouldn't have been there. I mean, Wendell probably gets voted out of Final 4. I mean, I did say earlier, I was in an earlier video in this Let's Play, when I was talking about the final thing, that I was talking about how Wendell, if it was a Final 4, I think Laurel would have tied the vote for him, and he would have gone to fire anyway. But I don't think that's as clear anymore, especially with how much she was talking about how annoyed she was with Wendell. However, I can't knock him too much right now. I mean, I did put him into my list of winners, like my winner rankings. I put him at 11, but to be honest, I do think he can get higher once I really, really think about it. I do think he will get higher, because because the things that annoy me about Wendell's game are what I just said, but then it's not clear. It's not clear if he would have been voted out in the Final 4 situation of a vote or not anyway. Like, I really just don't like this fire-making twist, because it really just makes everything more complicated than it needs to be. Mind you could say that, yeah, that's part of the game now, which is true, but I feel like it's a faulty function, part of the game. Like, it's a part of the game that really takes away from the other parts of the game that, like the social and strategic parts of the game. And like either way, this fire making challenge was going to benefit Dominic or Wendell, and it ended up benefiting Wendell, and he ended up winning. Like, the thing is, if Wendell won final immunity it took Laurel, Dominic and Angela, fire making challenge, Dominic wins, and then Wendell ends up winning anyway, I would have Wendell easily much higher on my winner rankings. Like without question. But the problem is that he did lose, and he did need that fire making challenge to survive. And that's the fault. And I don't know where to really rank this right now, because again, this is okay, fuck off. This is the first time, I mean, this is only the second season where it's happened. Last time with Ben, it was so blatantly clear Ben was going home, so I already docked points anyway. While here with Wendell, it's not as clear whether he was going home or not. So it's a bit less clear. But that being said, if Wendell, if I take away that Final Four thing from Wendell, I think he moves up a bit. The problem with Wendell, I mean, this is kind of the same problem I had with Sarah, where like going into the finale when Sarah won, like in Game Changers, going into the finale, I had her ranked, I think, number 5. If she only, but then watching the finale, I mean, she needed the Legacy of Anja Final 6, which again, you could say that she probably plays the Final 6 a bit differently if she didn't have the Legacy advantage. And again, she got the Legacy advantage in a very impressive way as well. So it's like, yes, I'm docking points for it, but it's not really that much of a fault. I mean, it is, but it's not at the same time. And then also the fact that the jury didn't seem to like her. I think that's the fault, a fault of her. Okay, fuck off. Shit. That's something I do dock points for, is that it feels like the jury weren't super happy to be voting for her. They were just happier to vote for her than a couple other people. And I do think that's the difference between Kim Spradlin and Boston Rob, where like I have those two players as number 1 and 2 in my winner rankings. And again, I'm rating this by dominance of their individual game that they won, like not by any other, like not by like the other seasons they played or whatever. Because obviously Boston Rob would be lower if I added in like stuff that happened in Marquesas and whatever else. But yeah, I mean, I do think what was I talking about? Fuck, Wendell, oh whatever. Sarah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, so I did dock points from Sarah, and I moved her down to, at the time, number 11. Which Wendell, I now have Wendell 1 above Sarah. However, again, I do think if I think about it for more after exit interviews come out and stuff, I do think he'll probably move up a bit. I just don't know where to really put him though, because I feel like his game is very similar to Earl's, in the sense that they were a person that had a alliance partner throughout the entire game, alliance partner that they were willing to cut. But in the case of Earl, he was given the opportunity, while Wendell was never given the opportunity to cut Dominic. I'm reloading. But then again, also like Earl, if Earl was in the final final 3 with Yao-Man, Earl still wins. Mind you, it's a close vote, but he still wins. So it's like, that's something, like I feel like Wendell's game is actually super, super close to Earl's. The only difference is that Earl never needed immunity of any kind at any point, and Wendell did. I mean, he won 2 immunities in a row, which, I mean, to be honest, I'm not going to change, like, it doesn't really matter as much. I mean, maybe the final immunity, no, not really, because he had the idol anyway. It didn't really matter, they probably weren't voting for him because of that, so yeah, it doesn't matter, that part. But it's the Final Four thing that does kind of annoy me, and no matter what, he's below Earl, I think, on the winner rankings because of that. But, I think he might, and I have Earl pretty high though. I have Earl at like number 6 or 7 or so. I don't remember exactly where, but somewhere up there. So I do think like Wendell could be like number 7 or number 8. I don't think he's getting much higher. I don't think he's getting higher than that though. Unlike Dominic, where I feel like if Dominic won, I would have had him at number 3. And yeah, I think I would have had him at no, actually, now I think about that. The problem with that, I mean, I would have had him 3 through 5, somewhere in that spot. I would have had him either at number 3 or number 5. Because at number 1 and 2, as I said, I have Kim Spradlin and Boston Rob. At 3 and 4, I have JT and Tom. Now it's a matter of whether he's above JT and Tom or below JT and Tom. That's a bit of the question. And to be honest, I'm not 100% sure on that. I mean, it doesn't really matter, to be honest, because again, he didn't win. But I mean, if he did win, the problem I have there is that the thing is that Tom and JT won. I mean, JT won for unanimous vote. He was well liked by the jury. Tom was less liked by the jury, but still well liked by the jury. I mean, like, there were a couple people that were a bit meh on Tom, but there were some people that loved Tom. So I mean, that, and also he played a very dominant game. I mean, they both. I mean, the problem. It's really a matter of what do I factor more, because like again, the thing about this jury is that obviously this jury did not love Dominic. Some people liked the Dominic. Like half of the jury liked Dominic, but the other half didn't. So that's something to factor in. Again, if I'm going by, like, it matters which one I rank higher. Do I rank people that are well liked by their jury more? Because if I do, then JT and Tom are above Dominic, and Dominic's number 5, or would have been number 5. Or is it a factor of, do I care more about
It is a red stamp.
what was the other thing? I forgot what now. I was just thinking about it too. What was the problem with Tom and... I can't fucking think of it now. There was a reason why I was thinking Dominic was higher than JT and Tom. Whatever. I mean, either way. I mean, like, he would have been 3 to 5. It doesn't really matter at this point. But it's a shame because, like, whenever we get to, like, whenever during the finale of Survivor, when we get to the final vote, I'm always rooting for the person who I think would be higher on my winner rankings. And again, I rate that on dominance of the game. Or at least my perceived dominance of the game. Obviously, I don't fully know everything. I don't know everything about this about the game that was played, about the cast, how their interactions with the cast and everything. Okay. Oh yeah, that's something that I should say. Also, another problem with... but the thing about Dominic is that Dominic was also saved by having an idol at 5, and then immunity at 4. Then I don't know how much you would really say saved by, but then I do think if there was no immunity at Final 4 and it was a vote, I think probably Dominic goes home there, right?
It is a red stamp.
And probably Wendell wins, like, unanimously at that point. But it's a tough thing to rank the winners, especially with all these top tier winners being so high. Because I mean, like, last season with Ben, it was pretty easy. I mean, he's bottom tier. He's he's wherever Mike is, which for me, Mike is around the 30. I think he's like 32 or something, 33. And he's like, it's just a matter of whether he's above or below Mike. That's all that really matters there. Against Sarah was a bit tough because, again, I had her as a top tier winner until the finale, and then the finale kind of messed things up. I mean, Adam was a bit easy to place. I thought he was the top, like, he's at the top of the middle tier. Michelle was pretty easy to place because, again, she's in that lower tier, like the tier of, like, women that win by I shouldn't say bitter juries, because I mean, I don't think people talk about how Aubrey was robbed and everything. And it's like, the thing is, the jury wasn't bitter, per se. Like, they weren't voting anti-Aubrey, they were voting pro-Michelle. It's kind of similar to how Paris won this season. Where it's like their perceptions were wrong, but it's like their actual... they were still voting pro the person that they were voting for. What are we doing here? I haven't been paying attention, so sorry about that. But I believe I have Michelle, like, right above those winners that won again with the bitter jury. Again, I when I talk about bitter jury, I'm talking because I do put more stock in people that win when people get votes for them, not just against someone else. I think that's more impressive to me. So like I have Michelle above like Amber. I have Michelle above um Natalie White, I believe. I think I don't remember, but either way, she's around that area. Oh, was this? Okay. Then I mean, like again, Jeremy. Jeremy's kind of tough too. I mean, he's top tier. But it's like a matter of where do I put him. Actually, that's another pretty decent comparison too. Is Jeremy and Wendell? It's like where do you rank those? Compared to those. But I do think the best comparison for Wendell is Earl at this point, and I do think he's below Earl though. So, and I do think I have Jeremy like right below Earl if I remember right. I think I have Earl at 6 and Jeremy at 7. I think is how I have it. I don't remember anymore. I need to look at the list again.
Look for
But
the insignia. It is a red stamp.
all right, look for the insignia. I don't know what we're doing.
We need to find one we can actually reach.
Oh, we're looking for like a particular box. Is that what we're doing? Okay. But yeah, and then like Mike Holloway again was pretty easy to rank just because he's pretty low. But whatever. I mean, like ever since I think I started ranking. Like I think it was around season 30 where I started ranking winners. However, they became like really in depth when I did a rewatch of the entire series during Millennials versus Gen X. And that's where I got like really in-depth winner rankings. Same thing with season rankings, where I have like a really complicated algorithm, like in the spreadsheet and everything, to calculate to rank the seasons and everything. And I did that, and then like I continue to do it for the next 3 seasons that came after at 34, 35, 36. However, it's a bit less accurate for those because I do feel like
It is a red stamp.
I think if I rewatched those seasons, I think each one of those would be lower, based on the algorithm and everything. Because I do think there's kind of a bias of like watching it for the first time and all that sort of thing. Okay, what the fuck are we looking for?
We need to find one we can actually reach.
Huh. I don't know what we're looking for. Oh, something else I should say that's actually video game related. Yeah, I was like looking at my collection earlier, and I was thinking like, I wasn't really like thinking this way, but I was looking at the collection, and I was like, oh yeah, I own Ratchet and Clank, and then that made me think, oh wait, that's a Sony published game, isn't it? So I guess that could also be a potential game we do as part of this like Sony published game marathon thing that we're doing right now. I don't think I think I'd rather replay Uncharted Lost Legacy than play Ratchet and Clank, but I would still like to play Ratchet and Clank on the channel at some point. I think maybe I'll do it like combined with
Red stamp.
Song of the Deep, because they're both Insomniac games and they're both games I haven't played yet, so I think that'll be a cool thing to do, like combine those two Let's Plays, do those back to back. What are we doing? I really don't know what we're doing. Sorry, I've been like really distracted just talking about Survivor and that stuff, that I kind of lost track of what we're actually doing, and I'm just walking around a billion times here. What do you want?
We need to find one we can actually reach.
Wait, this, right? No? Is that not it? I'm so confused. What are we looking for? I completely missed something. Like that box had a red stamp, like she was talking about. God damn, my throat's like really. My voice is really starting to give out. By the way, I don't know why. fuck. Alright. You know what? I'm just gonna look it up. Sorry, I'm like so far away from my phone too. Because I was kind of walking around earlier. So I'm just gonna look it up at this point. Fuck it.
Look for the insignia. It is a red stamp.
Oh yes, so yeah, this season of Survivor I thought was, I talked about in the past, I really just wasn't into this season. I don't know, I mean, like, I just felt like obviously it was so obvious that either Dominic or Wendell were gonna win. Which usually, I mean, which that was like obvious, but it's like, I don't know, I mean, like, there's just something about this season that just made me not care.
We need to find one we can actually reach.
Okay, wait, I'm looking it up right now. Just trying to find out what we are supposed to do. Oh my god, I have no clue where we are in this playthrough thing though.
We must hurry. We do not want to get caught in midair.
How far into this are we? I really don't know. Oh, okay, I got it. Alright, the crate you're looking for is on the... Wait. You're looking for is right by... Yes, wait, there's an object to inspect on the desk in the back of... Okay, so that's what we were doing. That's what we were doing over somewhere. Where is it now? Okay, here. Okay. The crate you're looking for is right by it as well. Zoom in into the... Wait, okay, wait. So it is this one? Oh, there. I'm a fucking idiot. That's what we had to do the entire time. Okay.
Help me get this one down.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I wasn't paying attention. That's just... Yeah, it's my fault.
Crowbar.
Yeah, I mean, overall, my opinion of the season coming into this week though was pretty low. I had it like ranked like 29 out of 36.
Look, hard night.
My opinion did go up a bit from this finale, especially like seeing the Tide vote and everything. I did move it up to 24, was it, or 25? So I moved it up a bit, but overall, it's still like it's a bottom half season for me.
These things, you can't be one of them.
Many have witnessed in Whitechapel your noble lord roam the streets late at night preying on downtrodden women.
The Ripper gangs.
That is what you call them. How do you think the murderer still continues to evade Commissioner Doyle's dragnet? Whitechapel has become the Kindred's feeding ground.
Yeah, I mean... Okay... Oh yeah, and another thing, the reunion show was super short, which was funny. Again, they did better than last season at least. I mean, they at least talked to, what, 6 people? So I mean, at least it's better than last season where they talked to, I believe, was it 4? 3 or 4? Like, I mean, it wasn't that many. I mean, I believe all they talked to was, what, Chrissy, Ben, maybe Ryan, and Lauren? Or did they talk to Devin too? Maybe it was 5. I guess technically they talked to Mike too, but not in the actual reunion show, but throughout the finale. Which again, they talked to Donathan this time.
We have to destroy this
So I guess technically they talked to 7 people throughout the finale, which again is better. What's strange is that Stephanie Johnson wasn't there, and I don't know. It seems strange that she wasn't there. Especially because it's like an easy $10,000 to go to the finale if you're a Survivor player. I mean, that's how much you get just for showing up at the finale. Is $10,000. It's like, why the fuck not? You get that $10,000. You get a free hotel, free flight. It's like, why the fuck not? I mean, I take it as something must have happened there, whether it be
this one. Prepare another.
whether it be maybe family issues or maybe something happened between her and production. Who really knows? But it just seems strange to me that she didn't show up. And I believe she was the only person from the cast that didn't show up, so I really wonder what was up with that.
This one's ready.
Okay.
Done.
Over here. Assist me to get up there.
Yeah.
Let me look for something to help you up.
All right.
And also the interesting thing, actually,
ladder.
we should probably end the
Here.
episode. I think we'll end the episode here. But yeah, the interesting thing though is that I did actually pick Wendell as the winner pick before the season. So it's like, this is actually the 4th season in the last 7, I believe, Survivor seasons where I've picked the winner pre-season, which is interesting, and I don't know why that is, because I don't believe I've ever picked a winner before that either. So I don't know what's going on here. But still, and I'm not including spoiled seasons, obviously. Like Sarah was spoiled for Game Changers. Technically Jeremy was spoiled for Second Chance, but I actually picked him before the season, like before they even flew out or anything. So I already, like, I still count that. And again, like, yeah, I mean, obviously, like, Blood versus Water and Kermo and Philippines were all spoiled, but again, that doesn't count. But alright, whatever. We'll end the episode here. Next episode, we will go ahead and continue on, but for now, thank you for watching.